Hey guys, it's Gawain, and today we're going to be taking a look at the queen of site executes, Ying. Ying is a 2-speed, 2-armor attack operator that specializes in crowd control and fragging. Ying has a powerful primary gadget that can zone and blind enemies, decent secondary gadgets, and decent guns. Good Ying players will overwhelm the enemy to the point that they can't fight back, making them easy pickings. Let's learn how to play her. Ying is equipped with her Chaos Clusters, of which she gets 4. These are cluster flash grenades that contain 7 flash charges each. When thrown, a Candela will bounce off any vertical surface and roll across the first horizontal surface it comes in contact with. When the detonation timer comes to its end, the Chaos Cluster will open and shoot 6 of the flash charges in a star pattern and 1 flash charge in the middle. If an opponent looks at these flash charges or just gets affected by them because they're within the radius, their screen will go completely white and their ears will start ringing for up to 3 seconds if hit with every individual flash charge from that Candela. The maximum range to the Chaos Clusters is 10 meters, but opponents will only get flashed for half a second if hit from that range by one of the charges. Ying herself is immune to these Candelas because of the special goggles she wears, but not other types of flashbangs, and her team aren't immune to the Candelas either. You can also send your Chaos Clusters through soft surfaces, such as soft walls, floors, hatches, barricades, and castle barricades. However, you lose a flash charge by doing this. Rather than having all 7 in a star pattern, this deployment method will send out 5 in a horizontal line, like a fuse cluster charge, and 1 dropping slightly below the Candela. These cluster flashes can be cooked as well, meaning you can reduce the detonation time in 3 stages when thrown or deployed by holding your Candela out and waiting for the 3 lights to illuminate. The maximum detonation time is a 3-second delay after being thrown or deployed. 1 light lit will reduce the delay time to 2 seconds, 2 lights will reduce it to 1 second, and 3 lights will take away the detonation time entirely, and the Candela will detonate as soon as it touches the floor or when it gets deployed. This is what adds a little bit of depth to Ying's primary gadget because it allows you, the player, to choose how long it takes for the flashes to start appearing to adjust the gadget to your preferred timing. Now we know how the Chaos Clusters work, when and how should you use them. Ying is great at stunning enemies inside of the objective rooms for you and your team to rush in and execute the site. The best way to use all 4 of your Candelas, in my opinion, is to flash your team into site, allowing them to do the heavy lifting by killing the blinded enemies and planting the diffuser. I use 3 Candelas to flash my team in, throwing them without cooking them at commonly held positions and small cubby rooms or corners within the site. I then use my 4th to stall the defenders in the post-plant scenario. The most common, and my favourite site execute with Ying, however, is one where you and a teammate go for a rushed diffuser plant. To do this, you need to pick smoke grenades as your secondary gadget, we'll talk about that later, and your teammate needs to have the diffuser and the willpower to not get C4'd from below. When you have your plant spot chosen, you need to throw a Candela, then a smoke, then 2 more Candelas, then your other smoke, and then your final Candela, all without cooking them and as fast as possible. This will make a lot of noise, provide cover for your teammate, and hopefully allow enough time for your teammate to get the diffuser down. As for other scenarios, if you drone out an enemy, then you can cook a Candela and either throw it or deploy it so that defender gets flashed, allowing you to pick up a free kill. You can also use your Candelas in a similar vein to slowly take map control by flashing yourself into small rooms and clearing them quickly. Ying's gadget can be used in a few different scenarios, but it always fulfills the exact same purpose: to render the enemy useless so you can kill them off easily. So how you use your Chaos Clusters will vary from round to round. Ying's primary weapon options are the T95 LSW light machine gun and the 612 shotgun. Her secondary weapon is the Q929 as she has no other options. I personally use the T95 LSW paired with the Q929 obviously. The T95 is a good LMG that didn't get hit too hard by the LMG recoil nerf, but I still tend to use the vertical grip paired with the flash hider for maximum vertical recoil reduction. Whilst lots of people like rushing with Ying, so find the angled grip better, I find that the enemies don't get flashed long enough for you to capitalize on it most of the time anyway, hence me pushing Ying as more of a support operator in this guide, but ultimately how you play her is up to you. The gun's got decent damage with a relatively slow fire rate that can take some getting used to, but overall it's a pretty good weapon, especially with the quick reload time because of the drum mag. You also have access to every scope up to the 2.5 times, so you can really customize how you want to play Ying. As for the 612, it's a pretty bad shotgun if I'm honest. Whilst it's easier to get shotgun kills with Ying when compared to most attacking operators because of her flashes, the gun itself still sucks. The damage and spread aren't great and the fire rate's trash and you only get 6 shots per mag. This gun barely even works when it's point blank, so I suggest avoiding it unless you really like it and can make it work, because God knows I can't. Use the T95, it's better in basically every way and it's more versatile as well. The Q929 is a solid pistol that has a good damage stat, standard handgun fire rate, and the best sounding pistol in Siege, so there's not much more I need to say. It won't let you down if you need to swap to it in a pinch. In terms of secondary gadgets, you get access to either 2 smoke grenades, as aforementioned, or 2 hard breach charges. The smoke grenades are my choice for Ying without a contest, because with these 2 grenades and her 4 candelas, she gets 6 throwables, all disrupting the vision of the enemy, making her the sight execute queen. You can use these smoke grenades to cover the person planting the diffuser and block off sightlines that you don't want to peek or have enemies peeking from. This is an incredibly useful gadget that suits Ying's playstyle and the rest of her kit very well. Hard breach charges are pretty good too, because they can allow Ying to go above and drop through a reinforced hatch onto sight, which places her exactly where her blinded enemies are. They can allow you to open up walls into sight that aren't commonly targeted to allow you and your team to pincer the enemy on sight. Both of these gadgets help Ying in a very different way. I find the smokes fit her kit much better though. In the droning phase, you want to save your drone really, but setting up a flank cam watching the entrance into sight for the post-plant in the action phase can be a good idea too. Saving your drone also allows you to drone more effectively in the action phase, but setting up a flank cam can help you spot what the defenders are doing throughout the map already. Just don't get your drone killed in the prep phase, as it's a waste of resources. To start the action phase, drone the area around sight to check for any roamers you could potentially pick off. If you find one, then flash that room and kill them. If you don't find one, then wait for main breach to open. When the main wall does get open, drone into sight to see if there are any Jaeger ADSs inside before throwing your candelas. More on that in the next segment. Tell your team to go for the plant when the first candela starts going off and throw them in as aforementioned. Candela, smoke, candela, candela, smoke, candela. Shoot any enemies you see and add some suppressing fire into the mix so enemies are deterred from making a move on the diffuser. After the diffuser goes down, place a drone watching it and wait to swing any enemies that dare to try and counter defuse. If you didn't blow all of your chaos clusters at once, then throw a few onto the diffuser to stall out the time and win the round. Ying has a few counters: Jaeger, Aruni, Wamai, Warden, bullets, and explosives. Jaeger, Aruni, and Wamai are pretty much all the same. Their gadget will destroy Ying's candela in Jaeger and Aruni's case, or relocate it in Wamai's case. Jaeger and Aruni's gadgets can also destroy the individual flash charges if the candela itself is not hit by the gadget. To prevent these, you can get a teammate to burn or destroy the gadget before sending in your candelas. Alternatively, you could try to make your candela go off, but still hit the Aruni gate or enter the ADS's radius with a flash charge. Warden is immune to your flashes and can see through your smokes when he activates his goggles. This way he can shoot you and your team when you come in for the execute when you expect everyone to be blinded. To prevent this, kill the Warden before you try and flash anyone. Bullets and explosives can destroy your candelas if they get shot or exploded before they detonate. To prevent this, use the reduced detonation times to detonate the candelas sooner so they are less likely to be destroyed. Throw your candelas into places where they are most likely to fully flash people or get people to look away from the chaos cluster, like the middle of big sites or into small rooms where the distance between the flashes and the enemy is reduced. Use the T95 for a reliable gun that can put pressure on the enemy and get kills from all ranges. Cook your chaos clusters to reduce the detonation time so you can flash and kill a single enemy quickly and efficiently. Use your smoke grenades to cover your planting teammates and block off sightlines during a site execute to make it much harder for defenders to prevent it. Sit back and use your utility to help your team enter site instead of rushing in there yourself, as you are less likely to die and you can catch your teammates' refrags if necessary. Overall, Ying is a middle-of-the-road operator to play in terms of difficulty in my opinion. Capitalizing on her gadget can take a bit of getting used to, and getting your team to do the same is even harder. Learn how to use your chaos clusters to their full capacity. Learn how to control the T95. Learn how to support your team and be aggressive at the same time, and you are sure to become a pretty decent Ying player. Thank you all for watching, I do hope you enjoyed. If you found this guide helpful in any way, shape or form, please do consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends, as that does help grow the channel, which is very much appreciated. As always, most of the clips you saw in this video are taken from my Twitch stream, link will be on screen and in the description. Malusi will be next for the Siege series, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.